Alright guys, so this is going to be a review of the Navage saline nasal wash. You guys deal with like allergies, seasonal allergies, pollen, you know, if you're around cats, for me, maybe some people are allergic to dogs, this is going to be great. It's going to go ahead and clean up all your nasal passages, leave you feeling much better. So generally when you get it, it's going to come like this. It might be a part, I can't remember if it was a part. And you're gonna get 2 packs. I got a pack of 10 and another pack of 9. I already started using up the other one. And contrary to what other people say, I would recommend using distilled water. You don't want to be adding any of the minerals that are stuck inside your plumbing, because all that can go ahead and irritate. So you just definitely don't want to do that. You want to use the safest route possible, being distilled water. Okay, so let me show you guys how this works. All right guys, so generally this right here comes 3 compartments. Batteries are included. Got the top part right here. This is where your clean water supply is going to go in. So you go ahead and open it like that. You're going to pop this open. You go ahead and fill it up with your distilled water, and then you're going to place the salt pod on top, being this little cartridge right here. Batteries are already installed, so once you do that, pretty much ready to go. You're gonna have your flow indicator, so it'll tell you right there which way it goes out and which way it comes back in. Hopefully you guys can tell right there. This is gonna be your waste reservoir. Go ahead and open this up. I'm gonna get all the dirty water and all that gunk in here. Also, batteries are gonna be in here. You got 2 screws right there holding it in. It's pretty simple to use. I like to go ahead and give it out a little rinse. Okay, so I think a very, very important piece that I wish I would have read instructions for, hopefully you guys don't deal with this, is that the moment you guys put the water in there, you already have the water in there, you put the salt pot in there, and you close it, this lock then becomes active. However, whenever you reopen it, say like you're not done, you reopen it and you start pressing it again, it will not, even if you close it, it will not turn back on. It has like this little safety in here to make sure that to limit the amount of contaminants that go in there. So just don't do that. Once it's in there, you want to just give it a full go. What I like to personally do is I'll go about halfway down and then I rotate it. So for example, if water was going in through my right nostril and coming out my left, I like to go ahead and rotate it towards the end and then cycle it the other way. So we're gonna go ahead and try it out. Got your distilled water, your Navage. Go ahead and fill it up. There's gonna be a little fill line. Both sides you can see right there, a little fill line. Go ahead and fill that up. All the way up until that fill line. That. Got your salt pod. Gonna go ahead and put it on there. Gonna close it. You're gonna have to press it kind of hard, so there you go. I don't know if you guys can see that. It's kind of cool. You can see all the little salt floating around. Coming down, you can still see it like settling all right here. I like to give it a little shake just to make sure it gets mixed up in there really good. And it will leak off the top, guys, so you don't want to put this upside down and it'll leak. Make sure you have this rotated in the direction that you want it to be flowing. So for me, I'm going to start off with my right nose. Okay, now this is kind of like the weird, uncomfortable part about this. You're going to feel pressure and you don't really want to talk during this whole process, because if you talk, you end up swallowing the water. That's always very uncomfortable, very salty. It's just gross. You don't want to do that. Before you start, you want to make sure that you hear that? It's a half press, so it's 2 clicks. The first press creates like a vacuum. You'll feel a little bit of pressure building up. It kind of sucks it up to build a vacuum, so you don't have a bunch of air up in your nasal cavities. So once you get that good amount of pressure with your mouth closed, obviously not speaking, then you go ahead and fully depress the button. Once you fully depress it, the rest of the liquid's gonna come out. Generally, you want to do this over a sink because sometimes it gets a little messy. Go ahead, put the nose pillows up in there. Make sure you have like a watertight seal. go ahead and try it. And I haven't done this in a little while, so it definitely feels a little uncomfortable. Grab some tissue. All right. Now, warning, this is gonna be a little nasty, but can't say I didn't warn you. Go ahead and look. You can already start seeing a little bit of that gunk coming out. Pretty nasty. Let's go ahead and continue. Great idea to have some extra tissue around, because you are going to have a little bit of water, but as you can see, it's definitely been doing a good job. Not a whole lot. So I'm about halfway. What I like to do before, you're about to pull this thing out of your nose is I like to pull it out to the first stage, allowing it to vacuum or continuously suck whatever water is in there. So the two-stage process is, one is the vacuum, two is the outpour of the water. So if you release that second stage, you're not going to be pouring more water in, and you're just going to be sucking water out. So what I like to do is, I like to give this a little rinse, just because, I don't know, nose and mucus and stuff, it's pretty nasty, but go ahead and rotate it. And same process. I'm going to go ahead and start it by suctioning up the nose. So when you first start sucking in there, once you feel that pressure, then you want to go ahead and allow the remaining of the water to come out. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so after finishing, you might have to like yawn or open up your jaw to get like that ear popping feeling out, but there it is. So you can tell, warning right now, it's not as bad as other times, but there it is. You can see some of that gunk in there. See that? It's pretty gross. You can imagine how much stuff is in there, especially after a long day, if like you're in construction, or if you're in an environment where there's a lot of dust, pollen, just a lot of debris in there. You're definitely breathing that in. So this is definitely going to help you clean out your sinuses. Even if you deal with the everyday allergies, it's definitely a great tool. I really like it, and hope it helps some of you guys out. This is the Navage Nasal Cleaner. And it's pretty easy to go ahead and take apart. Just pop this very gently, right? Because you don't want to splash it everywhere. Just pop it off to the side. There you go. You just pop it, you hear click. Comes off like that. And then you go ahead and just dump this out in your sink. And I like to make sure that I clean all of this after each use and before each use. I like to give it a good rinse. That way you don't have that remaining residue inside of it when you're going to reuse it. Also wanted to add that after washing, it's not just washing it and letting it air dry, in my opinion. Some people like to let it air dry. I think that this takes too long. I like to physically dry it off with a paper towel or some sort of towel. That way the water that's left between these little things doesn't help it build bacteria. Moisture and water definitely builds bacteria, so you want to prevent that from happening. It does come like with a little Q-tip type of thing. I don't have it with me right now, but it looks similar to a Q-tip, just a little bit bigger to help you get inside these little crevices. Get in here, clean here. They recommend using like a Lysol. I personally like alcohol. Rubbing alcohol generally dries up quicker, doesn't really leave any residues and stuff like that. No added chemicals. And yeah, so just a little piece of advice. After you're done using it, when you clean it off, make sure you dry it completely, because you don't want these little water droplets in there building bacteria and then putting that inside your nose. But definitely helpful. It takes a little time to get used to that feeling. It feels very weird, very uncomfortable, a lot of pressure, almost as if you're going up in altitude. Like if you're going up a mountain or something like that, you get that little bit of pressure in your ears and you feel that water just kind of flowing, but I can already feel like I'm breathing better. So yeah, hope if you guys want to check it out, I'm going to make sure I put a link in the description box below. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next one.
Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche.